He's a very good player. There's this young man, Luke Parker, playing his 63rd game of AFL footy. He was in the right spot at the right time. And a classic front and centre goal. Once again, make sure you download the Carlton Draft Pick and jump back on the app now and play Draft Pick Trivia for extra points. Pretty happy, buddy. Pretty happy, Luke Parker, with the first goal of the game here at the MCG.
Adam Gooch with the vest on. The sub tonight for Sydney. They lead by 21 points here at quarter time, Cameron Ling.
Well, they do, BT. And I noticed as Paul Roos is just about to come and join us that Melbourne really targeted Buddy Franklin as a group, as a team. They didn't leave it up to Tom McDonald. And Roosy, just quickly talking about the team focus on Buddy Franklin rather than just leaving it up to Tom McDonald. Is that the plan coming into the game?
Yeah, well, they go to him a fair bit. I mean, they go long to their forward line anyway. So trying to get some, if we can get some numbers and ground balls in the back 50 and get some contest down there.
You must be really happy with the effort as well, the tackling, the pressure, all those types of things.
The first 20 minutes were really good. The tackle pressure. Once it drops off against a good team, they're going to slice you.
Thanks for your time, Roosy.
Paul Roos there, and he'll make his way up. And former Swan himself, an absolute superstar of the game, Bobby Skilton. Great to see him on the mend as well, because he was quite crook about 12 months ago, and he's recovering now, and he looks in full health.
Yeah, he looks good there, Bobby. What a legend. Dree Brownlows, that was Paul Williams sitting in front of him too, Das, Collingwood champ.
And Sydney Swan champ as well.
Yeah.
Former best and fairest, certainly at Collingwood. Did he win one at Sydney? May well have. Paul Williams.
Swans fans can tweet us in that one. I'm pretty sure he may have.
There's the battle that has intrigued us all. Buddy with one goal out of it all. And a bit of a karate chop to the right cheek. Umpire Heath Ryan to let it rip. This time Derrick's timed his run up nicely. Parker and Jones go at it.
Yeah, BT. Paul Williams, two-time best and fairest winner, 01 and 02 at the Swans.
Wow.
He's got the job done. Willow, Tassie boy as well.
Kennedy.
Hobart.
Matt Jones advancing the footy to Frawley. Dawes and Richards is there as well. Dawes did well. Perhaps could have given it to Frawley there rather than trying to turn all the way around.
Definitely doing something different. Franklin's was down in the goal square then when that ball got thrown up. We haven't seen that all year in a game.
Overlap running here, impressive from Sydney, ends with Jetta. Long and looking for Pike. Boundary line beats all comers.
But a lot of, I guess, media analysts have been asking why teams never hold a forward deep back like that when the ball's down the other end. And it is the first time this year that I've seen the forward stay at home like Franklin is tonight.
And is he only able to do that because McDonald is staying with him? Normally the defender might play 30 or 40 metres in front and come back as the ball comes back.
Yeah, spot on. But Tommy McDonald is not leaving his side, so he's staying deeper.
Let's have a look at this. Cam Pedersen decides I'll go third man up. He has driven his knee into the backside of Bernie Vince harder than you could possibly imagine. Bernie's looking around going, are you kidding me? My own teammate's just done that.
Grimes tackled really high there. Surprised he didn't get a free.
No chance. Here. Play on.
Jamar just working it back in the boundary line. Tyson ducking and weaving around the back as Viney.
Got it.
Love the look of what they're trying to do, Melbourne. We see Jack Viney, who's one of the hardest young players in the game. They toughen it up around the footy with Bernie Vince, and Daniel Cross comes into the mix. Jack Grimes really trying to make sure they're better. Nathan Jones, exactly that, making sure they win these 50-50 contests more than they lose.
Hanbury not pretty here at the moment. Pike did well to keep it alive. Through trouble, Jetta. Turlick back out to Tyson, or is it Viney? It's the latter. Viney's kick not good. And Shaw thumps it into the dangerous spot. Here's Buddy again. This time McDonald behind. Off hands, creates an opportunity for Rampy. He thought the pressure was behind him when it wasn't.
Yeah, he just didn't think he had as much time then. Rampy could have nearly straightened up.
No one there.
Have the don't argue to fresh air, didn't he?
Didn't need to kick around the corner then either. He could have straightened up, kicked a drop punt then. A lot easier said than done, though.
I shouldn't speak about Mo's, but that's a very juvenile one. Opportunity here for Matt Jones in there. McGlynn trying to force it out. Quick hands by Watts into Nathan Jones. This is the classic case of the rolling maul here.
Yeah, it is both sides. Pretty good at making sure they get one-on-one, get accountability, and you're going to see, Paul Roos coach sides forever, and John Longmire, they tend to have a lot more stoppages and ball ups. It's just the way they like it.
Gee, that was a great tap from Jamar then. Jones knew where it was going. Jamar knew where he wanted it to go. Short to Grimes. Slow play, seeing so much of this year. Dawes did well to Lyndon Dunn, and now they go deep. They fly. Howers off to the side. Melcheski under some pressure. Shaw. The handball was just a little heavy and hard. And he's got a lucky one.
Yeah. And that would be frustrating for Paul Roos, for Howard just to give away a soft free kick there. Umpire had to pay it, but that will be the build-up that Paul Roos will love. They wanted a half back. They used it well by foot, and then when it was time to go forward half of the ground, they kicked it long to a one-on-one.
Did they?
Melcheski, the kick has to be perfect, and it is to Hanbury.
Benny McGlynn got the job on Nate Jones, and he's just drifted forward now to take Jones out of the play.
Sydney spreading here and spreading the defenders well. Grundy to Richards. Down the line to McGlynn. Kick was a little wide. McGlynn, can he keep it? No, Jones decides to get it over the line. Looking at some champion data information there is Johnny Longmire, shaking his head in disbelief. Get a constant supply of stats fed into the coach's box. Coaching staff, not just the stock standard ones, but the...
And they haven't been in a coach's box for a while, BT, but they're great at actual lights going off, like red lights saying someone's out of control, a player's had too many possessions, and very, very sophisticated there, Richo.
Well, the red light would be going off in the Melbourne box on the contested possession now. Plus 14 to the Swans. They're getting on top.
Melcheski, Roberts Thompson, Steph Costin copped a knock. He's not looking too energetic about it all. Melcheski goes really wide to McVeigh.
How good was that kick?
1 metre, Jack. 1 metre, please. Thank you.
Had nothing to go to and found a target, although being wide.
And McVeigh, from a real difficult angle, he'll kick it from around about 50. It's a tough shot.
15 going, Jared.
He's really got to stick it on the left side of the goalpost. Tough kick. From McVeigh. Across the face. Pike was in there to make it hard for everyone. Did well to force the contest. Now Shaw gives chase for Sydney. 55 out, cool kick, back inside Jack. Jack for a moment thought about Lloyd there. There's Buddy up the middle, and that's where it's going. Got in there, Viney, and read it nicely.
It's really good anticipation by Viney. Peeled off just at the right time, and intercept marked. Well done.
Frawley keeping it alive there with a punch forward. Vince. Left foot kick, and here's Frawley again. The one-handed did it nice.
That was a great kick from Bernie Vince. That was about the only spot that Frawley was going to mark it, and he put it absolutely perfectly there.
Hold there now!
Pedersen's got it within 60 metres for Melbourne.
Yeah, good hard gut running then too by Pedersen to push and give Frawley that option.
Now into the pocket. Off hands Jetta, so in one side, perhaps out the other. Although doing really, really well at ground level. Has he made an attempt to get rid of it? I don't think he has. And he pounced on the footy. He did the defensive thing here, Jetta, but then made no attempt.
It's a brutal sport, this game, isn't it, where you do everything right like Jetta did. He made all the play, athletically contested for it, sat underneath him. The umpire, as the rule book dictates, that is holding the footy, but it's pretty hard. And then you spoke to Paul Roos at quarter time, and he said, look, the first 20 minutes were great. Our contested ability to tackle and our effort's great. They're just not quite being able to hold on, are they?
No, exactly right, Darcy. He was wrapped with their effort, wrapped with their pressure, but just the ability to sustain it against a team like Sydney, who also pride themselves on that area of the game, tackling like they're doing right now. Just such a physical team. It's tough for this young Demons outfit to be able to match it against the Swans.
Just about had enough of the genuine attempt. I ain't coming
Hitting it to yourself.
If you give the theatrics well enough, you're not paid. I mean,
so what are you going to do? Just swing your arm around wildly? I think that's why you can hear the Melbourne fans. They're a bit frustrated.
Well, that interpretation seems to have changed a little. Now, if they're consistent, and he is, hallelujah, they say.
Well, that's consistent, but it's consistently not great.
Well, this is exactly what we haven't loved about. This is over-umpiring here now, and that hasn't been there in the first few weeks, Richo.
But they're just doing that's instructed, and they have been consistent with it tonight, so I guess you can't complain if it's consistent.
Pedersen down the middle. Dawes got a chance.
This is great reward for effort for big Chris Dawes, who's a massive unit in his own right. Chris Dawes, he's a great runner at the same time. He carries a big frame, but nearly 100 kilos. And look at the work rate there, really stretching out hard, and hasn't had a lot of the footy since his return, but he's just given them a bit of presence up there.
Sliding doors, some would say, looking at that. Does.
Nice bristle.
Sharp, wasn't
I like it.
Jeez, you're on tonight.
He's a really good kick. He sets up beautifully. He's got a textbook
very straight
style about him. He's very erect in his posture. And look at that. Melbourne get their second goal, the first goal of the second quarter.
BT all over this kicking action. What do you like about it?
Yeah, absolutely superb. Nice and straight, Darce. Very uncomplicated. And that's his 100th career goal to go with that.
It was a nice build-up. Paul Roos will probably show that at training on Monday, because they got to switch into the corridor, they got to play on. It opened up the 50, and that's what Chris Dawes wanted. Gave him plenty of space to lead.
And Richo, the bloke who got in the middle was Cam Pedersen. He's playing in the ruck now, very undersized at 193 centimetres, but providing a few headaches with his mobility. He's already had the 11 touches so far.
Suiting Melbourne the way this game's being played at the moment. Shaw trying to bang his way through the Matt Jones tackle. Burns did well to just get a little smother in there. Now Shaw keeps it alive. Sitting under it is Vince. Turlick went without getting hold of it. And now McVeigh gets a little space. Has a look into the danger zone here. McGlynn's making ground. Pursued by Watts. Here comes Dunn. Worried him out of it. Did nicely. Watts just buys a bit of time by peeling the handball backwards, and Melbourne thinking their way out here. Jetta did well to get a hand in there. Pedersen, there he is, the man Lingy just spoke of. Pike, Hanbury, Pedersen knocked it out in the tackle. And now Jetta, perfect to Jack. Oh, it's just a little high. I thought it looked good, and look at McVeigh with the backhand. To Shaw. Shaw sells some foot candy, gets it to 45 and sprays it badly.
It's got an open feel to it, this game, and one of the reasons is both teams, their forward lines, as we've talked about a few times, they're holding. We're not seeing the whole amount of numbers all condensed in. As you can see there, Mark Jamar's the deepest forward. He's right down at centre-half forward, and it's just stretching the whole thing out. More room for players to move.
Umpires are told to blow their whistle straight away if it doesn't look like it's going to come out.
So the umpire, there's a little bit of a back elbow there from Lyndon Dunn. And the umpire say rough conduct, free kick.
Buddy's got to beat two in the air. Roberts Thompson with an aggressive tackle.
Thanks, Ron.
On Bale. This is the free here. Just a little backy into the guts. Matt Jones in there, and look at the players around this. Arms and legs tangled. quickly out of the ruck. Just misses to the left, so Sydney by 17 points now. Dunn licks the short kick and finds Kennedy Harris. Now that's play on if you're coming around on the mark like that. He eventually goes long down the line. Jamar in front is Bernie Vince. A little chiselling footy out wide. Dawes, clever little knock on, just missed Burns, but it was a nice thought from Dawes.
Again, they taught to do the basic things well by Paul Roos, and I always sing his praises a lot because he's had an impact for me, Richo. Melbourne last year would have tried something there in the back pocket that wasn't on, kicked it long to the ruckman. He made sure he didn't get out marked. They kicked it along the line. You don't get scored against. It's basic stuff, but they haven't done the basic things well. It feels like for a long, long time, Melbourne.
Well, you can definitely see their structure and how they're going about things this year.
Derricks and Jamar this time. Cross was in there. Now Grimes has got Hanbury hanging on. So this is a very in-close game. Not a lot of space for players. Viney. Tyson. Gain 20. See all of the players over on this northern side of the ground in this sort of section of ground, if you like. No one from the centre square over the top to the southern stand side. Hanbury fast hands McGlynn. McGlynn to Jack. Jack to Bird. Four of them really good midfielders. Bird now long footy. Too much on it for McVeigh, and Lyndon Dunn reads it nicely. Now, can Melbourne go here? I don't think so. Vince is going to cop it again. Kennedy kept it alive. Grimes has to go. Shoveled the handball wide and found Giorgio, and now Dunn's got to do it all over again, and this time to Matt Jones.
Yeah, he's the loose player at the moment, Lyndon Dunn. And he actually had Jack Watts wide on the other side of the ground. He could have switched it across, but chose to come back down the members' side.
They kick another goal here, Melbourne. I think they'd go in. If it's a 10-point ball game in half-time, it mightn't be one for the highlight reel, but I think Paul Roos would really swoop them up and say, hey, you know what, there'll be some mental pressure applied on Sydney. You've shown you can compete with them. If we're close enough on the scoreboard, maybe we just get inside their psyche and we can cause a big upset here.
I agree, Das. I reckon this is really playing into the hands of Melbourne. Low scoring, always in the contest. Jones high footy. Jamar sets himself and Derricks did well. Now, can they transfer successfully? Rampy the start of that and Jack on the end. Cunningham offers the short ball. That's where it goes. Here comes Watts, though. Can't quite make him fumble it. Cunningham down the wing here and finds Hanbury worked hard to get across the other side.
Oh, didn't he, BT? Daniel Hanbury, that was super impressive. You're going to show some of these young Melbourne players what work rate through the middle part of the ground is, and they've been good at it tonight, Melbourne. But Daniel Hanbury just worked as hard as he could to the other side of the ground, provided one option, wasn't used, then doubled back and provided another lead. Just an impressive midfielder.
And when Sydney switched that ball then, when Derricks took the mark, I thought, oh, they're going to get out the other side of the ground. But Melbourne worked really hard to get across and block the exit. So
it was exactly what Lingy highlighted before the game, wasn't it? That working as a team to set that line up across, and they did it again then, Richo.
Yeah, so they're really working to a plan. And I guess what Lingy highlighted, if one player doesn't work hard, it just breaks down for everyone. But on that occasion, it worked well.
Using the pace of Jetta well. Slicing kick inside and went at it here. The opposing Jetta, Jones, cool to Nate Jones. Now Jamar's pursued by Derricks, but got time to peel it off to Grimes, and Jamar again. What does he do here? He's corralled. He's in trouble. Boundary line saved him.
Tackle. Got to be a legal tackle.
So 6.5 minutes, 17 points. As Das said, a goal here for Melbourne. Right in it. Grimes and Vince combine. Ernie Vince to a one-on-one. Frawley, not only their best forward in recent weeks, kicking a couple of goals in successive weeks, he's their best defender.
I'm watching, mate. I'm watching.
Best at both ends. Melcheski thought he had time and space. Back to Laidler, who had to go back and get it. He says, someone come at me, please. And they do, but Melbourne and Dunn working well as that loose man got across to help. Kennedy gives it to Parker on his wrong right boot this time. Didn't get enough on it.
It was great by Jeremy Howe. Then when Melcheski marked that ball in the middle, I thought, oh, they're off here. He's going to be able to deliver it uncontested inside 50, but he pushed hard and just got enough pressure on. Forced Melcheski to get the handball off and saved an easy inside 50.
Is there a question on how long Melbourne can sustain this really good defensive setup, though?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a 10-minute period in the first quarter where they just got away from them a bit, and this great Sydney team, talented team, were able to score quickly. It's going to be the challenge with chosen. Can they keep it up?
It was about this time in the first quarter, I reckon, and Sydney got away. So this is the challenge now, to hold it right till the half-time siren.
You get the feeling that Paul Roos, knowing these Sydney players so well, that he's done a lot of work on this game and given them a really good recipe to follow. Franklin sneaking onto the ground. There hasn't been a lot of opportunity for him in this second quarter. Not as much clean ball as the first quarter. Vince again. High footy, Melcheski through the legs of Pedersen. Laidler applies the tackle. I reckon he's almost got him in a headlock.
We've only had 4 inside 50s this quarter, Melbourne. Sydney 10, but Melbourne are the only team to score a goal.
The only Australian of the year to ever play a game of football, Adam Goodes, warming up.
It's a fair inclusion, isn't it? The Australian of the year.
Absolutely. The sub, and we saw Judd, and just wonder about warm-ups, whether they've been good enough for the subs. And even though he's a fair way from coming on, he's getting ready, Adam Goodes.
I reckon he'll be the only Australian of the year for a while as well that's going to come on as a sub.
Yeah. McGlynn, Jones, chance here, Melbourne. Got the numbers if Turley gets over and helps.
Just got a tweet in. Jack Gunston, we met Phil Davis, talked about Tommy McDonald getting a bit of meat time in the first quarter. Well, he said, at Phil Davis, on you, mate. Got what you were after there, your own airtime. I think he might be right, Jack. Phil just sitting on the couch, getting a mention.
So Melbourne at last get it inside 50. Frawley. Smith goes along the ground, and Richard's happy to see it. There's the NAB Oz kickers ready to go. They can't wait to get out there at half-time, and look at them. That excited about venturing onto the MCG.
They're pumped, the little fellas, aren't they? Can't wait for the half-time siren to blow.
How good would it be, though, as a kid to walk onto this ground?
Don't reckon they'll be playing the press. I reckon it might be a bit of clear footy to be won in the Oz kick. Yep. There might, in fact, at half-time in the Oz kick, we'll check the scores, they might kick more at half-time in an 8-minute game than these guys have kicked in 2 30-minute quarters.
When you were the ruckman in junior footy, you tap it to yourself, have a bounce, handball at someone, get it back and kick a goal.
No, that's what you did, Richard. You didn't share it. You were a real little bully.
You would have been passing a few off, would you, down forward?
Melbourne again go inside 50. Let's hope they can get some reward this time. And once again, Richards and Grundy solid.
Hold in. I'll take it, mate. It's mid-zone.
So the Swans haven't kicked a goal this quarter, BT. You've got to go back to late 2012 when Melbourne kicked a team goalless in a quarter.
That's great.
Almost 118 quarters ago.
A saving one here from Richards.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about the defensive progress, doesn't it? And we highlighted that before the game, Das. The big improvement this year.
4 goals in the first quarter, Sydney, and Paul Roos went out there with real purpose to the group at quarter time, and you could see he had a couple of things in mind about how to trim the scoring, and it's worked for Melbourne here. Vince has Burns coming wide.
Move it on! Play on!
Now Bernie just pops it up. Got a bit of a run at the back of the pack here, J-Mar. Jetta. Can they open them up, Sydney? McGlynn.
Oh, there,
That was a big kick from Jetta there. He took a risk in the corridor, and they're going to have to defend hard here, Melbourne, on the turnover. But once again, as Lingy pointed out pre-game, this is something they are very good at now.
Right now.
And normally teams get caught out there with a great kick from Jetta. Everyone's streaming forward, but their commitment, Melbourne, to want to find their man is really admirable.
So they really have found a methodology to trim the scores and keep themselves in the game, Melbourne, which they haven't been able to do in previous years.
Lyndon Dunn has been loose behind the footy this quarter. There he is now. He's up to 8 disposals, and he's just getting in the way, making it hard for the Swans going inside 50. As a result, Lance Franklin hasn't touched it this quarter.
And the real upside for Melbourne will be, unfortunately, young Jesse Hogan, the young star forward, we understand, had a bit of a relapse of his back. But if you could get another gun, and he turns out to be what we think and hope he will be, and then maybe Frawley can rotate back a little bit more, you can see what he's trying to build, Puru, is a base of competitive nature. And then when we get a bit of cream on the top, we'll start beating some good teams.
Well, here they go, the Demons. Nate Jones will get a look from 50 metres out directly in front. A patient build-up and a precise one from Melbourne.
Yeah, really good build-up. Earlier in the season, they were going sideways and backwards. They went sideways then, but when the opportunity arose to go forward, they did, and they went forward fast. Jones gets a mark just inside 50.
Yeah, so he'll have to kick at 55. Kick looks like it's got the legs. No, it falls short right on the line.
Touch, not clear.
Well, they're going to review it.
My decision is touched. Can we please review?
Score review. Umpire's call is touched. From behind, please confirm. Review underway.
We're going to go back to the umpire's call. Are we overdoing this a bit now, Richo?
You've got to trust the goal, or did he not trust himself?
He knew it was touched. He absolutely knew, but he didn't want to have egg on his face.
Review complete. Confirming touch behind.
Did he call for the review, or did he get a field umpire?
No, the goal umpire did, so
should have trusted his judgment.
So then we get this delay in the game, BT, that, you know, it's probably 30 seconds.
Yep.
Not sure I like it.
A minute remaining in the half here. And Melbourne to be applauded for the way they've been able to control the pace of this quarter. Melcheski around the corner. An opportunity for Sydney just for a late one. Kept it rolling. Got to go Cunningham. Got good wheels. Feet taken. So 39 seconds. 60 metres from Sydney's goal. Haven't scored a goal in this quarter. Sydney just the 3 behinds. Pike did well. Melcheski, as he was about to kick, was ripped off the footy.
At the back. High up.
Grimes. Kennedy Harris involved to Nate Jones. Now Jetta. Vince sees some space. There's time for Melbourne. Numbers in favour of Sydney here. Did well Rampy. Watts turns Bird around. Had the composure to handball while under pressure, but it'll end in nothing.
No prior balls pinned.
About to get the half-time siren. I'd love to see Jack Watts change pace more with the footy, Richo. He's lightning quick. He just doesn't use it enough.
So that man, Paul Roos, would go down pretty happy. Sydney by 17 points, and Buddy didn't get a look in after being a big focal point in the first quarter there. And here at half-time, it is Sydney leading 4-8-32 to Melbourne 2-3-15. So that's a lead of 17 points for this team here, who just look a little confused at the moment. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Well, Macca, probably a frustrating quarter of footy for you guys. You just couldn't get through that Melbourne defence, could you?
Yeah, a bit of lack of composure with the ball, you know, which really hurt us. we're trying to quick kick it. They've got to go back, so we've just got to use our hands more and, you know, try and change the angles.
You're just talking to Kieran Jack there, having a really good chat between two strong leaders of the team. What were you talking about?
You know, just trying to work together a bit more. You know, I've got a few guys who are running with, so just try and work out, block for each other and just help to get those guys free.
Appreciate your time, Mako. All the best, mate. Stay with us now. A big half-time coming up with a brilliant discovered on Melbourne player James Frawley at the MCG here in a low-scoring affair. It's the Sydney Swans by 17 points.